Let's take a look at Dhanurasana bow pose. This major backward bend is a powerful spinal energizer that's going to strengthen the quads, open the chest and shoulders, and stimulate the digestive system. So this pose begins in prone position with the forehead on the mat. Legs are parallel. And to enter the pose, we're going to bend our knees, keeping them hip distance apart. And we want to grasp the outside of the ankles. It's important to hold on to the ankle if you can, rather than the feet, because you can overstretch the small muscles in your feet. And Karen's going to ground her pelvis against the floor throughout the pose to protect her lower back from overarching. To enter, she'll use an inhalation to reach her legs up and back, feet away from the head, keeping those thighs parallel. Nice. Shoulders are away from the ears and the neck is long. The neck should match the curvature of the rest of the spine. And the legs are really the power for this pose. The more they reach back, the more the thighs lengthen up and back, the more the upper torso is going to be drawn into that bow shape. And as she grounds her pelvis, she can focus on the life force surrounding her spine as she silently affirms, "I recall my scattered forces to recharge my spine." And then she can take one more deep breath before she exhales, releases her torso and her feet. She can pause in prone position or turning her head to one side if that's more comfortable. And if her lower back needs a release, she can push back into extended child's pose. Very nice. So if you have difficulty reaching back to grasp your ankles due to body proportions, inflexibilities, or maybe you have an injury or a physical condition, there is a way to use a strap around your ankles to make them more accessible. So the way you would put that strap on is it goes behind the ankles first, then out to the sides, and we can just draw the straps to the front to make sure they're even. Then taking both straps underneath the middle strap, we would then place both straps into one hand. And it's nice to even separate those straps with your index finger so it's a little easier to have them apart when you come down onto the floor. So next you would take your other hand onto the floor to help you lean over onto your opposite side before you roll over onto your abdomen. And then you want to reach your hands back as far as you can toward those ankles, just like in the full expression. And then you would enter in the same way, forehead on the mat, grounding the pelvis. And as you inhale, you'll reach the feet up and back, away from the head. It's really important that the elbows stay straight, palms face each other, so you have nice straight wrists, shoulders away from the ears. Beautiful. And you can see how her ankles are separated, so you don't want those coming together. And you can see that there's less of a sharp angle at the knee joint, so that can really help people with knee sensitivities. Okay, then you can slowly release out. There is another way to use the strap if you have knee discomfort when you practice this pose. You can place the strap around your thighs instead, so it goes around the backs of the thighs, out in front. And what you're going to do is tie a knot in the middle, so it's not going to bother you. In between the legs there, tie it firm enough that if you were to press out against your strap, your thighs would not go beyond hip distance. Very nice. Then you come back into the pose, and when you come up, reaching the legs up and back as though you're going to straighten them, but of course you can't. You're pressing out into the strap, and that can help you to not only protect your sacroiliac joint, which we want to do by keeping the thighs parallel rather than splayed out to the sides, which can jam the sacroiliac joint. It's also going to help some people with knee discomfort. Okay, and the last thing we want to show you for this pose is instead of pressing out into your strap, you can actually squeeze in to a cushion, a folded blanket, or a block. You would put your prop in between your knees and thighs so that they're parallel, legs parallel. And then in this modification, you're squeezing inward toward your prop when you come up into the pose. And this can also help to keep your thighs parallel, and it might reduce knee discomfort as well. So there's lots of options to make this pose accessible. And that was a review of Dhanurasana, bow pose.